Hello everyone, my name's Jamie Conway. I work at Your Voice Inverclyde. My role at Your Voice is the Recovery Development Coordinator. So what that entails is, right now I'm in the process of setting up a network of volunteers who all have the lived experience of addiction or mental health. And by lived experience, what we mean is individuals who have in their life had to deal with addictions, alcoholism, mental health, and have managed to come out the other side of that and move on with their lives. We feel that these people are best placed to help support others who are about to embark on this journey. Right now, I want to talk a wee bit about myths of addiction. So you'll find common phrases normally knocked about communities with regards to individuals who are in addiction. So the first myth that I'm looking to bust here is that they will never change. So you hear people talking about certain individuals in the community, and a common phrase that goes along about with that, oh, that's him, he's never going to change. The truth of the matter is, recovery is possible from addictions and mental health, and I'm evidence of that. So I'm currently in recovery for over 8 years now, and people said about me in the community that I grew up that I would never change. I would continue to do that for the rest of my days, and all the things that go along with my addiction. So what we're looking at here is, in addiction there's lots of different pathways to actually achieving recovery. You know, they could be 12-step fellowships, it could be Christian orientated or religious orientated practices, it could be CBT, which is cognitive behaviour therapy, which looks at our behaviours and our actions. And what we tend to find, especially in the recovery communities, is that individuals just haven't found the right model of recovery that connects with them, that helps them to achieve sustained recovery. And what you tend to find is that individual that is commonly battered about the community that they will never change, they will be an addict for the rest of their days. They've not found the right recovery pathway for them yet. So as a recovery community, what we are looking to do is we are looking to introduce all the different recovery pathways to individuals so that they can decide which one would be best placed for them. And believe me, there's hundreds of thousands of people worldwide who are all in recovery, who have been and done the same things that these individuals you see in your community have done and do, but they've came out the other side of it. And I'll tell you, I've never met as kind and compassionate people as what I've met in recovery communities. The second myth I'm going to have a go at challenging is that addiction's a choice. So this is a tool that's used by community members to pass judgment and stigmatise groups of people. And what it does is it differentiates the normal community members that you would see going about doing their everyday stuff and this group of individuals who cannot seem to do that. Now, I'm not saying that a choice isn't made at some point, and I will talk about my own experience here. For me, my choice about whether to use a substance came when I was between 13 and 14 years old. And like normal teenagers, I chose to experiment with alcohol at the weekends. But what I found was alcohol was able to give me something that I didn't feel I possessed normally. I was quite a shy, quite introvert young boy, young teenager. And when I picked up alcohol, what I found was I came out of my shell. I had all this confidence. So I related alcohol to giving me the ability to do something that I wasn't able to do myself. And that started off my journey with using substances. And it went right through the cards like that. Now, in this country, we don't condemn adolescents for their behaviour because we view it as that they are emotionally immature, they're young, their minds are young, they don't process information the same way as what an adult would do. And they can't, for the best part, they will not be held responsible for the decisions that they make during these teenage years. So when we look at addicts in the community, the majority of people started their journey into addiction in their teens and even earlier, where they are introduced to substances and they're often running for that. So right now, as a community, we condemn the majority of addicts for the choices that they have made when they have been 13, 14 years old. The truth of the matter was, for myself, is when I realised that alcohol and cannabis could do this stuff for me that I didn't believe I had, that then became a tool that I would use on a daily basis to be the person I wanted to be. And then eventually the physical symptoms of that caught up as well, and it became that I had to use that substance just to get through that day, just to be able to get out the door and do the normal things that everyone does. So for me, in the later part of my addiction, I did not have a choice. If I wanted to go out over the door that day, I had to use a substance. It was the only way I knew how to do it. This spiralled out of control, and obviously I started to do more and more things that isn't within my nature in order to get and use these substances, because I felt it was the only way for me to live. So when we think about the addiction as a choice, we are totally ignoring the fact that these individuals have realised that these substances are able to get them through life, and we are condemning them for the choice that they made back very young, or in order to deal with other things that are going on in their life, that choice that they made to go and use a substance. And that was my story, and I found out in recovery that during the later part of my addiction, I did not have that choice anymore. It was a necessity for me to get through my day that I had a substance in my body. Obviously realising now, coming into recovery and realising the damage that had done to me at that point in time, I now realised that I was powerless over the thoughts of going and using and the actions to do that. It's not something that I wanted to do. It's not something that I aspired to be at a young age. You'll know yourselves when you're asked what you want to be when you grow older, from as a teenager in school. Not one individual is turned around at that point in time and says, I want to be addicted to drugs the rest of my life and have physical ailments, mental ailments, burn all my bridges with family members. Nobody makes that choice, but yet that's what community believes to be the case. And the third myth that I want to burst is that addicts have a morality disorder, where you look at people in addiction and the behaviours that they displace in the community and the damage that they can cause to family members and community members through their need to get money and get drugs, and how much that engulfs their life. You know, you need to understand that addicts use substances as a tool to deal with life, right? So it's a solution to their problem, you know, and when the thought comes about that solution not being evident in the day, the fear then kicks in with addicts, and it causes them to push the boundaries of others, and to do things that normally they would not do. It's not in their character. So for me, it's not that they have a morality issue, it's that they have an addiction, and it's their only way of coping with life. And back what I said at the start, in recovery communities you will meet the most kind, compassionate, empathetic individuals that you've ever met in your life, who are caring for each other, that want to see each other do well, that don't want to be dishonest and manipulate and lie and cheat. They want to try and live their life in a better manner. Now, I would argue the point that has always been the case for that person in addiction, and their behaviour has affected them over the years and kept them in addiction because they feel that bad about the stuff that they are doing to the people around them. It's not that they don't care about anyone else, it's just that they have realised that drugs offer them a solution to an issue that's going on in their lives, and they're going to continue to do that at all costs. So drugs are the most important thing in somebody's life when they're in active addiction, but that is not to say that they don't care about anything else. Thanks very much for listening. I hope that's explained a few things. if there's any questions, please feel free to pop into Inverclyde Recovery Cafe on a Wednesday or Friday evening and come and speak to the recovery community that's here in Inverclyde. Thanks.